Welcome back to Book Break. If you are looking for something amazing to download onto your e-reader, I have got the best book recommendations for you. These are the books that everyone is buzzing about at the moment and I think would be fantastic to take on holiday, take on your commute, really just take with you wherever you go. So you need them on your e-reader. So I'm going to dive straight in with my first recommendation, The Club by Ellery Lloyd. And if you were watching this video in April when it first went live, then I've got good news for you. The Club is just 99p an ebook all of this month. So that is an extra incentive for you to go and download it now. And unsurprisingly, it is shooting up the charts at the moment. The Club is a thriller set at the launch weekend of this exclusive club on an island. It is the event of the year. The guest list is full of celebrities, but as the guests start to arrive, it becomes clear that if your name is on the guest list, you might not be getting out. The Four Winds by Hannah Kent is also really high on the ebook charts at the moment. I don't need to keep saying that, it applies to everything in this video, so you can just take it as read from now on. So The Four Winds is set in Texas in the 1930s during the Dust Bowl, which is a period of severe droughts and dust storms. A really terrifying time to live through that really affected many people's lives, including that of our main character in this book, Elsa, whose family make their living on a farm. So the book is about the strength of this woman living through this terrifying time. Her husband has just fled and trying to make the right decisions for her and her family to survive. For some non-fiction, I recommend What Happened to You by Oprah Winfrey and Bruce D. Perry. So Bruce Perry is an expert on brain development and trauma, and this book is a really open discussion between him and Oprah about trauma and healing. It's a really wide-ranging conversation. It gets very, very personal, all about the ways that so many things that happen to us in childhood, whether they're good or bad, can have a really strong impact on us later in life. And it gets really personal. Oprah opens up about a lot of the childhood challenges that she herself faced. Another really powerful non-fiction about mental health and also about race is Maybe I Don't Belong Here by David Harewood. So in this book, the actor David Harewood tells his story of growing up Black and British, how that affected his mental health, his own experience of going through a psychotic breakdown, and then ultimately his recovery from that. And I think that non-fiction is really good to read as an ebook because it's something that you might want to refer back to quite a lot to find specific parts of the book, so you can search using the e-reader. Just a very useful thing to carry around with you. But as well as non-fiction, diving back to thrillers, another great genre to read on ebooks because you just can't put them down, so you need to take it with you wherever you go. I'm going to recommend The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. So this is a book about a married couple who go to see a marriage counsellor. But no one in this book is quite who they seem on the surface. The counsellor has lost her licence because of her very unconventional methods, and the couple are seemingly going to her to talk about a recent infidelity and how their marriage can recover from this, but it turns out they are both hiding a lot more secrets from each other than that. And then another book that loads of people are talking about at the moment is The Push by Ashley Audrain. So this is a psychological drama about motherhood, about stress and paranoia. It's a thriller, but then it's also a multi-generational character study, and then at times it is also a horror. It's got so many layers, it keeps evolving into something new and unexpected. Another treat that you can get for just 99p on ebook is A Gambling Man by David BALDACCI, and this is the second in his Aloysius Archer series, which is historical crime set in California in 1949. And David BALDACCI is one of the world's best-selling thriller writers. You will always find his books high up in the charts, ebook or otherwise, but if you haven't read a David Baldacci before and you're a fan of Raymond Chandler, of Agatha Christie, then take this as your sign to download A Gambling Man right now. Loads of people have been reading Empire of Pain by Patrick Radden Keefe recently, and I imagine that the TV show Dopesick has got to be at least partly responsible for sending this one soaring back up the charts again. This is a non-fiction book about the opioid crisis in America and about the Sackler family who are responsible for making and marketing OxyContin, this drug which contributed in a huge way to the opioid crisis. So it's a terrible story, but absolutely fascinating, and the book is so well researched and informative and really, really powerful. And then for some fiction related to that topic, Transcendent Kingdom by GYASI is a book from 2020 that is soaring back up the charts at the moment. This is about Gifty, who as a child was fascinated by her parents' story of their journey from Ghana to Alabama. But years later, after her father and her brother have succumbed to the hardships of living as an immigrant and opioid addiction has ruined her brother's life, Gifty has lost her faith in the American dream, and so she begins to trace the roots of her family's trauma that end up going so much further back than she had realised. And so just like GYASI's first book, Homegoing, this is a book that spans continents and generations. Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner is the memoir that everyone has been crying over this year, and I've seen so many different kinds of readers loving this book, so it appeals to a huge range of people. Michelle Zauner you might otherwise know as Japanese Breakfast, and this memoir is the story of her losing her mother, her grief for her mother, and also how that affected her relationship with her culture, with her Korean heritage, and how she uses food and cooking to reconnect with that side of her family. And finally, I have to mention, because I have seen these books all throughout the ebook charts, unsurprisingly, the Bridgerton books are very, very popular at the moment. So we're on season 2 at the moment of the TV show Bridgerton, and it has inspired lots of people to pick up the books. There is a series of 8 books by Julia Quinn, so you might as well just download them all now. Seems like that's what everyone else has been doing. I will link here to a video I made before on my tips and tricks for how to use an e-reader like a pro, so do click through and have a watch of that one, and let me know in the comments below which ebooks you have been particularly loving recently. And I'll see you next time.